young Kiwi.
The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
The voice of the creative economy.
With Vincent Heeringa.
Yes, well, it was early this week that we heard that the very sad and disappointing news that the Street Press Groove Guide, published by Tangible Media, would have their last edition this week. Yesterday we heard from the editor, Sam Wicks. Today, representing the publisher from Tangible Media, Vincent Heeringa, of course. Morning, Vincent.
Good morning, Wammo.
Good morning. Yeah, it was, I guess, disappointing news, and a lot has been said, I suppose, in various forums about the demise of Street Press in New Zealand. A big gaping hole there now. Why the decision?
It really comes down to money, Wammo. We, as a publishing group, have been trying for 2 years to make Groove Guide a financial success. And while we are in love with the product and we're in love with the idea of Street Press, it was just despite kind of numerous variations and different attempts at, there was a major format change in November to go to an A4 size with a kind of offset stock paper. It kind of worked, and it certainly increased the chances of it overall succeeding. But it's still, from our point of view, from Tangible Media's point of view, has struggled to. The expression is wash its face. It's just the money coming in and the money going out are not the same.
In what particular areas of the advertising market weren't coming through for the magazine?
Well, this is the bit that's really gutting because, and I should say, Wammo, that there is some news about, before we go into sort of some of those details, there is some news about to break about Groove Guide, which really makes a lot of what I'm about to say kind of redundant, but I will explain it for the sake of for the fans out there.
Is this a sale? Is it?
Well, I'm not at liberty to say what it is, but there is a lifeline, and since making the announcement on Monday, we've been really amazed at how many people have come forward. And interesting, we've tried lots of people, other publishing companies, other people in the space who you would think would be the natural. Have a natural interest in this, but the announcement has flushed out a whole lot of more interest, and there is some good news coming, but it's not for me to say what that is. And so I think it's fair to say that Groove will live to fight another day.
But not under Tangible.
Not under Tangible.
Okay.
That's right. Not under my. I personally won't be involved in it, and Tangible won't be.
Yeah.
And exactly what form that takes, well, that's up for someone else to say. But I think there will be another chapter in this story.
So therefore, there are a lot of people out there obviously do think that that they can make Street Press work in a small independent way. Is the problem here though that Tangible, it's a reasonable sized company with many publications underneath it. Is it just the fact that something small and independent and sort of niche like this can't really work within a larger organisation?
I think there's a bit of that, Wammo, but it actually gets to the heart of small business challenges in New Zealand. That a lot of the success of small business comes down to the passion and the network of the individuals that are involved. And as soon as you corporatise businesses like that, there is a certain amount of loss of something. But for one thing, you introduce a cost overhead that perhaps if you're running it out of your bedroom or in a low cost office, you suddenly introduce a huge kind of bureaucracy that goes with large organisations. Photocopiers and IT and leases and cars and finance departments and marketers, and there's an overhead that goes with anything that involves more than 15 people in a room. And it becomes harder to innovate as well? I think there's a bit of that, and there's also a bit of the, as soon as you get to a certain scale, and I know this because I've grown my own business from being 2 people, we got to sort of 19, and then we've merged to become a 45-person company. And there are some really critical moments in that journey where you cease to be the guy that's, I suppose, making the product or selling the product to being the manager of the business and the manager of people. And that moment is quite a critical moment for, I know it personally, but it's a very critical moment for business and requires quite a number of things to happen. One of them is you actually need enough revenue to justify employing someone to do the job that you used to do, being an editor or being a salesperson or a designer or whatever. And that threshold is a very difficult one to cross. It's typical of small business becoming medium-sized business and medium-sized becoming big business. There are some very critical moments there. And a groove guide, I guess, is a really good example of and street press in general. By definition, it needs to be fast, dirty, entrepreneurial, low cost. But you're not going to get big, fancy brand campaigns. You might be, if you're lucky, of the likes of a Vodafone or a Telecom. What you're going to get is lots of little activity from promoters. And you asked before about who have been the advertisers that have supported Groove Guide, and we really have to acknowledge and take our hat off to the promoter market, which just has been a fantastic support for Groove Guide over the years, and will continue to. And we really hope that it will continue for them, because they've been fantastic support. And it obviously serves a purpose, It activates people out there. They pick it up at Burger Fuel or Real Groovy or Marbex, and they look at what's going to happen this weekend and go and do it.
So essentially, really, everyone thinks it's a really good idea and it needs to happen, but there's only certain models that it can work under, because it's only ever going to reach a certain amount of people, and a certain amount of people are only ever going to want to pick it up, and New Zealand is only a certain size. So therefore, the publication has to suit the owners. Yeah,
I think that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And, maybe we could have made a better fist of it, and there's always lots of looking back and you're saying, oh, geez, I wish I'd done that, or wish we'd done that. But we worked pretty hard, and Sam and Emily and Francis, the designer, just incredibly talented people, and they've worked incredibly hard to make it work as well. So I'm really hopeful that next week when I'm talking to you, there's a happy end to the story.
All right. Hey, Vincent, thanks very much for talking to us all about it.
It's a pleasure, Wammo.
Cheers.
Thanks for your interest.
Time now here on Kiwi is 7.